Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Joe Nyaga from the Graduate School of Media and Communications. Welcome to our academic programs open day. Without taking too much time, I will call on our first speaker, who is the Dean, to start us off. The open day will start now. We're going to hear from the Dean. We're going to hear from the faculty about the content of the course. We're going to hear also from some of our alumni and one ongoing student. And then we are going to have a question and answer session. And after that, we are going to support those of us who have begun filling in the application. We're going to support them for the rest of the session until 2 p.m. To start us off is Professor Nancy Buka. She's the Dean of the Graduate School of Media and Communications, and she's going to take us through more information about the school and a bit about the programs that we have. So Nancy, you can unmute your mic and start.
Thank you very much, Joe, and a good afternoon or good morning, depending on which parts of the world you're joining us from. My name is Nancy Buka, and I'm the Dean at the Graduate School of Media and Communications, and I just want to thank each one of you for making time to get more information about our school, our programs, as you make important decisions about your academic journey, and especially as far as graduate education is concerned. We are joined by colleagues, some faculty members in the room where Joe is, and some, I think, virtually, and a good number of our support teams. We have the Office of the Registrar present. We have, our admin support also with us, and we hope that we will be able to answer as many of your questions, but also support you as you apply for your graduate program. Joe, do you want to move the slides?
Sure.
Okay. I think somebody is controlling the slides. Okay, great. So I'll give a bit of background to the Graduate School of Media and Communications. We turned 10 last year, double digit, very exciting time for us. We were established in 2015. And at the time, the idea of the school, when His Highness broke ground for the Graduate School of Media and Communications, the school was first imagined as this place where journalists would come together, and communicators to speak about journalism, but also to discuss issues around democracy, development, public trust, and the well-being of our societies. And so our school is essentially a multifaceted education and training center that not only serves journalists, but also communicators, media executives, and that will be evidenced in some of the programs that we offer, and entrepreneurs in East Africa and beyond. I think one of the other a huge constituency of students or professionals who come through our doors are those who work in civil society organizations. So these are some of the photos from our GSMC at 10 celebrations last year in December, where we were joined by partners, collaborators, friends, alumni, current students. And it was a beautiful opportunity for us to reflect on our decade of impact, but also to think about what the future portends for us, as a school. We also had an opportunity to launch our coffee table book, which is titled Stories of Change. And this book is available online, that talks about, shares stories of our alumni and the impact that they're making, across the various places that they serve. We currently run 3 academic programs. Our first one is a Master of Arts in Digital Journalism, which we launched in 2017, admitted our first class in 2018, and we've been able to admit about over 250 students in that program. The second one is an Executive Masters in Media Leadership and Innovation, which we launched in 2019, but we were only able to admit a class in 2020 because of the COVID pandemic, and we've been able to admit over 90 students in that program. And then our newest kid on the block, the Master of Arts in Strategic Communications, which we launched in 2024 and admitted our first class in 2024. We've had 2 cohorts come in, and we've been able to admit 83 students in that particular program. Next slide, please. So just a bit about our alumni. In the Master of Arts in Digital Journalism, we've graduated 157 students to date. In the Executive Masters in Media Leadership and Innovation, we've graduated about 65 students to date, giving us a total of 222 students as of the last convocation, which was held in February of this year. We haven't graduated any students in the MASC program, but we are looking forward to doing that, in February of 2027, because that class, the first cohort, completes its program at the end of this year, and we're very excited, as we walk them through that journey. Over the years, our impact has been evidenced in several areas. One is in the area of the media and the communication landscape in the region. What has happened is that if you walk into any media organization, we can't say much in terms of communications just yet, but if you walked into any media organization, you'd find somebody either who's come through our academic programs or has come and attended a short course, a master class, has interacted with us in one way or another, has attended one of our events or one of our convenings or our conferences. And so that just means that, when you think about that landscape, we have, a footprint, especially in the East Africa region. But we are also expanding our programs to other parts of the continent. We currently have students who come from the southern part of the continent, and we are growing in that space. We are looking forward to when we will have students also coming from West Africa, and those efforts are currently on course to ensure that our classes have a truly, continental outlook. In terms of thought leadership, many of our faculty, staff and students participate in various forums. They sit on boards, they sit on committees, on advisory panels. They invited us to conferences as keynote speakers. We also convene a lot of important conversations around, media and communications. Last year, we convened the PR Week that brought together university students from Nairobi. We've also been able to host the Digital Media Africa conference twice, which brings together media executives, from across the continent to discuss issues media. And this year, we will be hosting for the very first time outside of South Africa, the Africa Investigative Journalism Conference here in Nairobi at AKU. Our Media Innovation Center has also been integral in ensuring that, in as much as there's quite a bit that's happening in the media landscape, that we have an opportunity to experiment, to try ideas, to fail quickly and cheaply, and also to be able to test, minimum viable products for the media. And so through the Innovation Center, we've supported not just digital startups, but also supported people with ideas and provided a space for them to be able to experiment ideas that would, contribute to media viability in this part of the world. And then we continue to do quite a bit of research that informs a lot of the activities that happen in the media and communication landscape. Several of those have mainly focused in media because that's where we began. And we are slowly, building our profile in the communication space as well. So studies that look at news consumption habits of digital natives, studies that look at media viability and the state of media viability in East Africa, gender in media, you know, and the framing and coverage of femicide and sexual and gender-based violence, just to name a few. And lastly, in terms of impact, in addition to academic programs, we offer continuous professional development courses and executive education courses. And in the last 10 years, we've been able to train about 7,200 professionals who've passed through our programs. These are journalists, government officers, civil society leaders, corporate communicators, NGO teams, innovators, you name it. And most of these are people who are not able to perhaps find the time to enroll in a 2-year program, but still, you know, need the knowledge and the skills to navigate, you know, the various spaces of work and the changing landscape. So I'll quickly speak about our value proposition and then hand over to my colleague, the Associate Dean. So what's the value proposition when it comes to an AKU education? We have a very big emphasis on quality, and I think I will, you know, the students who will be speaking with you, and some of our alumni, I think, will be able to demonstrate that. Our pedagogy is also quite innovative. We're continuously looking for ways of making our classes a lot more relevant to the current issues and concerns that the students bring to class. One of the things that we do is when our students come in for in-person sessions is that we also bring in lots of speakers to be able to support the teaching and learning outside of, you know, your normal lectures. Our education is also very practice-based, so we use case studies. We use a lot of people who are in the business of media and communications to come and contribute to that discussion. And all our faculty, you know, have spent some time practicing either in media and communications and continue to do that, you know, in various ways. Students also have a choice, especially in the Master of Arts in Strategic Communications, where you have a choice about, you know, some of the electives that you'd like to take. We also bring in international faculty, either as guest speakers or sessional speakers, you know, to be able to contribute to our discussions. And then, of course, leveraging technology to offer our classes. And so it doesn't matter what part of the world you're in, you know, you'd still be able to access our classes from wherever you are. Expertise also in a very high demand field, and especially when you think about media and communications today with the advances in technology, but just the fact that, you know, people are also looking for credible information, and there are very many people, you know, shaping discourse in that space. We need people who are experts to be able to drive, you know, conversations, but also to be able to have contribute to societal change in many regards. One of the strengths that we have as GSMC is that we also sit with 2 schools, at least in Nairobi, which is a School of Nursing and Midwifery and the Medical College. And our colleagues in those spaces also come in to support some of the work that we do as a school. So for example, when we talk about mental health, you know, for journalists and communicators, those sessions are communicated by our colleagues in the health, you know, in the health education, you know, departments. If you're talking about health communication, you know, we are not, you know, trying to teach it. We are actually relying on a lot of guidance, especially in terms of curriculum development, from our colleagues who sit in the health education space. And of course, that is supplemented or complemented by our colleagues who sit at the Institute of Educational Development, who support, you know, a lot of our teachers with innovative ways of delivering, you know, their classes. And so with that, I think I'll turn it over to my colleague, Professor Nyabuga, to take it on from there.
All participants, and we're delighted to have you in this meeting. And I'm just going to speak very quickly about the teaching methodologies that we apply in our university and, of course, the school. I'm hoping that you can all hear me. Yes, Before I, of course, invite other colleagues to speak about the different programs that we have, I'm just going to speak very quickly, as I said, about the teaching methodologies that we apply. We, of course, realize that the world of teaching is changing, and consequently, we try as much as possible to use modern, innovative teaching methodologies. And this includes, for instance, peer learning and self-directed learning. And this means that we, of course, realize that you come from different backgrounds and bring a lot of knowledge and skills to the class. And consequently, it is important that this is experiential, that this is a shared experience. The other is reflective practice, where, of course, you tend to reflect on what it is that you're doing. As I said, the knowledge that you already possess is critical to the learning process. And consequently, we believe that that is important, because sharing, particularly in classroom situation, is very critical to effective teaching and, of course, learning. We have practical boot camps, and this is, a situation where we ensure that, we invite practitioners that, help in delivering some of these boot camps where, practical skills, of course, learned and applied in various productions that we, of course, do at the school. Case-based learning is another methodology that we apply, because there are various cases that are important in illustrating some of the things that we do. And those help in a deeper understanding of the issues that face the media, face journalism, and face communication around the world at the moment. We also have field visits, and this ensures that we visit newsrooms. For instance, we visit PR organizations or public relations organizations or communication bodies to learn from them, particularly on what it is that they are doing to engage the public, to engage various stakeholders, and to ensure that whatever they do is effective. Next slide, please. And we have various resources at the school. I should say that we visited various universities in this country, and we pride ourselves in having some of the latest resources. So whether it's the library, for instance, there are numerous, hard copy in terms of books, but we allow students to access digital resource from whatever it is that they are. As the Dean mentioned, we have students from as far as Southern Africa, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, and other places as such, and other places. And consequently, it is important for them to access these resources. So digital resources are critical to our learning. We have learning spaces, and this includes, of course, spaces where you can engage in small groups, for instance, engage in peer-to-peer learning. And these, of course, seek to develop teamwork, seek to develop, exchanges between people from different places. And as we said, this experiential learning is important in whatever it is that we do. We also have a studio at the school, and this is accessible to all the students that we have here, particularly our students, because it's our facility. So if you have a production if you want to produce, whatever it is, whether it's a podcast, a video, a radio program, you're invited to use that studio as part of your membership, of course, of the school. And this is accessible to you as a student. All our classrooms are fitted with audiovisual, the latest, again, audiovisual technology, because we want the experiences between lecturers, students based in different countries, to be as productive, to be as rich as possible, because we realize the technologies have become an integral part of whatever it is that we do. All our programs are 2 years, and the various speakers will take us through those. But 2 years, as indicated there, we follow a traditional university calendar. So 2 semesters, the first one between September and January, and the next semester starts in March until about July. And this is for the 2 years that you'll be at the university, but we'll get more details from the various speakers that are going to speak about the other programs that we have. And let me invite at this juncture my colleague, Dr. Caroline Kiarie, to speak about the Master of Arts in Strategic Communications.
Thank you, Prof. Good afternoon, everyone. As you've heard, my name is Dr. Caroline Kiarie. I am faculty here at the Aga Khan University in the Graduate School of Media and Communication. So I'll be taking you through the MASC program. As the Dean had said, it is our newest program in the department. And based on what we have seen, it's actually performing very well, but I'm going to take you through some of the details about the program itself. Next slide, please. So let me just put it this way simply and say that as long as you're dealing with people or you're dealing with any stakeholders, then this Masters of Strategic Communication becomes quite important. And why did we even launch the program? As you heard, it was in 2024, so it's relatively new. And so when we did the research, we found out that, we are always dealing with different stakeholders, whatever industry that you are in, whether it is business, corporate, NGO, government, you are dealing with people. So how do you communicate effectively to the different stakeholders in those particular industries? So with the masters, then you're able to do that. We also got the information that we needed to do, keep up with what is actually going on. So things to do with climate change, environmental communication, geopolitical, financial, all that are part of the courses that we actually offer in strategic communication. So it is a program that is actually market responsive based on what, again, the demand is in the society. So when you're able to, or when you complete the program, the Masters in Strategic Communication, you should be able to take up any role in strategic communication in whatever industry or in whatever, again, organization that you are situated in. Next slide, please. So what's the rationale of the program? We want to have, or what we train is how to become an expert in whatever field you are in, and to have impactful communication and effective communication. Whatever the goal is of the organization or the objective, how are we able to achieve that? And then we have also moved from the traditional business models, that heavily relied on advertising, and now we are looking at even things to do with AI, social media, the new technology. How do we leverage this technology in order to communicate to our stakeholders? And as I had said, whether you're in corporate, parastatal, whatever industry you are in, you are experiencing, or you could be experiencing, challenges. And so strategic communication actually helps you to know how to navigate through these challenges and how to communicate effectively. So what we usually say again is that communication, no matter whether you are in finance, you will talk to people, you will communicate to people. And when you're communicating to people, there's something that you're trying to achieve. So how do you actually do this effectively? So whether it's to create awareness, to build partnerships, to look for resources, so fundraising, or even to influence behavior and persuade people to take certain actions, then that is the rationale of this particular program. Next slide, please. So the philosophy of the program is basically, and most of the time when you ask people about communication, they think about, preparing press releases or, events and all that. So what you're saying with the Masters of Arts in Strategic Communication, we want to elevate communication away from just the tactical elements to a strategic function. What does this basically mean? We need for strategic communicators to move away and be part of the board, be in the boardrooms, be part of the decision-making, be at the decision-making level. And that way, then it becomes easier for whatever actions that you have decided or whatever goals you have and the objectives, and they're able to trickle down to the rest of the organization. Move Next slide, please. So the pillars of the program, we have 5. So these are the 5 pillars: strategic communication, and you'll see these pillars actually coming out when in the next slide when you see the courses. But we have strategic communication, risk and crisis communication, and right now we are dealing with so many different crises. And one of the things is more or less like even a poly crisis, where crises are actually, affecting one another, whether it's in economics or whether it's financial, whether it is health, all that is affecting the different organizations. Health and environmental, where we also have climate change, digital communication. Again, right now you cannot survive if you don't have AI or even social media in your organization or leveraging on these tools. And of course, global communication, because again, we're living in a global village. Our courses, we have a total of 12 courses or 12 units that we'll be doing. Next slide. We have 10 core courses. Move to the next one. I'll come back to this. Sorry. So the 10 core courses are these. They're divided into two years, as you've been told by the Associate Dean. So each semester you do about 8. The first year you'll do each semester 4 courses, and then the second year, which is more or less the third semester, you'll be doing 3 courses, and then the final semester you do the thesis. We have electives in the program. So the electives are 4, but you get to choose 2. Next slide, please. You get to choose 2 electives. So in the first set, you choose either health and development communication or political communication. Or in the second set, you can have environmental and change communication and financial communication and investor relations. Now, should you choose or should you want to do both of the units, then that is also a provision that you can go ahead and do, and that can be discussed while you're undertaking the program. So what are the program learning outcomes? Let's go back, please, 2 slides. Back, please. So what are the program learning outcomes? These are the 6 learning program outcomes for the program. So based on the courses that I've talked about, what are you supposed to come out with? Basically, you should have in-depth knowledge in terms of strategic communication. You should become a master. Remember, it's master's program. So you need to come out when you're actually a master. You have professional skills and the right mindset to deal with whatever situation that you come across. Remember, again, we are dealing with the global issues or whatever is actually facing our current working environment. So how do you actually address that? Research and critical thinking is one of the major areas or one of the major outcomes. Everything you do, what is the thought process? How did you decide to get that? And research always helps you. So data-driven courses, data-driven outcomes. And finally, ethics. Everything we do needs to be ethical. Do we think about that? And so the program will actually ground you in some of the ethical and legal obligations that you have to think about. How is the program offered? Next slide, 2 way down. So as you've heard, it's a blended program. What we mean by blended is that you have some classes where you do them online, and then during the semester, for 1 week, you come to campus. We call it the in-person week. So in this, when you come for the in-person, you get to meet who are your colleagues or students, the staff members, the faculty, industry leaders, because most of the sessions are actually done with the industry leaders, and we complement that again with your learning. The classes take place on Tuesday to Saturday, so Tuesday to Friday from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. and then on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. I think that is it. Next slide. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thanks, Carol. And I'll take over once again to talk about 2 of our other programs. And this is the Executive Masters in Media Leadership and Innovation and the Master of Arts in Digital Journalism. And I'll start with the Master of Arts in, or rather, the Executive Masters in Media Leadership and Innovation. As many of you know, and I'm sure that many of the participants on this call work in media, communications, and journalism. And the fact that the media is going through serious challenges at the moment, not only in East Africa, but around the world. And consequently, this program is meant to ensure that the participants or the students possess the knowledge to be able to manage those media organizations sustainably, viably, and of course, innovatively, because those are the skills that are required to be able to navigate the current media landscape around the world. And consequently, as you can see from that slide, authentic leadership, innovation, and this is, the innovative skills that are necessary to manage media houses are critical to the survival of media enterprises around the world. And consequently, for you to have an entrepreneurial mindset, for instance, you need all the skills that are developed through the program. And these have been noted to be important or vital in whatever part of the world you're in. Next slide. And as we see from the rationale, media viability and leadership and innovative thinking are critical in the establishment or setup of this program. And consequently, increasing media viability, for instance, through what it is that we've done. And as we indicated, all our programs are born out of rigorous research to determine the viability of the various programs, but also the need in society at the moment. And consequently, media viability being a critical element in the survival of media houses is one of the reasons why we thought that this program was important. And the philosophy, which is in the next slide, is based on the fact that leadership skills are critical to ensure sustainability across the region, across not only East Africa, but around the world. And without a leadership, whether it is within the newsroom itself, within the media houses, or whether it's the businesses or the general landscape where we have various stakeholders, without leadership, then you're not going to manage. And this is innovative leadership, transformative leadership that is necessary to manage media or media organizations. And obviously the various elements within the media houses, whether it's the human resources, monetary resources, the technologies that underpin media productions, all those need innovative and transformative leadership. Next slide. And the various pillars, 4 pillars that on which this program is based. And one of them is strategic thinking. Strategic thinking, particularly when it is a fluid environment, media environment, communication environment, or journalism environment. Strategic thinking is important. And this, for example, relates to identifying and dealing with various stakeholders that you think are important in media survival and media sustainability. In addition to that is creative and authentic leadership. I've mentioned leadership, and this is something that we tend to focus on a lot because many media organizations or many media houses have failed because of lack of leadership, because of lack of effective management. And consequently, this creative, transformative, innovative leadership is critical to what it is that the media expects people that have gone through this program to possess. And consequently, we have actually demonstrated over the years. And if you go, as the Dean said, if you go to many media houses across East Africa, you'll find one or a few of people that have gone through this program. And consequently, they have contributed to to building sustainable media houses across the region. Next. And this course is based on has various learning outcomes, as you can see from that slide, but I'll just mention a few. One of them is critical engagement with contemporary discourses in leadership. Again, this is something that we focus on a lot because, there are various reasons why we think organizations fail, but one of them is poor leadership. And consequently, for you to participate in this program or to take this program is to realize that leadership stands at the, core of any media business. The other learning outcome that I'll mention is, the use of sophisticated knowledge and insights about the relationship between strategy and environment. So again, what strategies, for example, can you apply in whatever organization that you are in? What strategies do you possess to be able to survive in your own workplace, for you to develop yourself personally, professionally, and of course, maybe to succeed in whatever it is that you do. And this relates to finding innovative solutions to organizational challenges, and of course, developing the various opportunities that obtain the current landscape, whatever it is that you are. And this landscape is, has various elements, various actors, whether it's from politics, from economics, from technologies. This, of course, brings everything together. And it is hoped that at the end, of the program, you possess all the skills you need to manage and to lead media enterprises, and of course communication enterprises, given the fact that there's a very close relationship between journalism, media, and the communication. We have, next slide, we have 8 courses in this program. As you can see from the screen there, leading media enterprises in the digital era, we also recognize the fact that the world is right now digital. The media is digital. And consequently, leadership in this environment is important if you want to be able to manage the resources. As you can see, leadership for innovation, for instance, is again, important. But if you want to manage the resources, whether it's the people and technology, or managing resources, whether it's money and facilities, leadership is important. Strategic thinking is important. And at the end of it all, you do a capstone project, and the one of the strengths of this program is the capstone project, because we expect the students, we expect the participants to do research into an issue that they feel they are passionate about, and something that they want to implement at their own workplaces. So you're not only learning, but applying the knowledge and the skills to succeed or to make your organization better. Next slide. It's fairly flexible, just like all our courses. We have classes between Wednesday and Saturday, but this varies from a semester to semester, because, as I said, we only have 8 courses, and then we have the capstone project. So classes are between 5:30 and 8:30 from Wednesday to Saturday. But sometimes also Thursday, Friday, and Saturday morning. Saturday morning is between 9 and 12 p.m. And this is East Africa time. Of course, if you're based in other places, then that time might be different. But nonetheless, East African time is from 9 to 12. So if we move to the next program, our first program that was launched in or accredited in 2017, as the Dean said, was the Master of Arts in Digital Journalism. And this was based on the fact that, next slide, on the fact that, the world was moving towards digitization or digitalization. And consequently, media survival was based on appropriating the technologies and ensuring that we understood the audiences that consumed media products, particularly on digital platforms. And given the fact that Africa has a very young population that is mostly digital natives. In addition to that is that credible and trustworthy journalism is important in the development and, of course, the survival of a knowledge society. And we want Africa to be part of this knowledge global village environment that we operate in. And as such, we also, realize that for people, for society to contribute to an understanding of various issues from Africa perspective, from the African perspective, but also from a world perspective, it's important for them to have reliable information, particularly on digital platforms. Yes, next slide. Again, this program was born out of the fact that there is a fast-changing environment, whether we're looking at it from an economic perspective, from a technology perspective, from a socio-cultural, political, and all those factors that are important. to the world at the moment. There is, the world is changing. The world is becoming digital. All of us, or most of us, have mobile telephony, and those are the technologies that we use not only to produce, distribute, but also consume information. In addition to that, is that audiences are changing. Audience tastes are changing, and for anybody that takes this course, it is important that they understand audience changes, their tastes, and to be able then to respond to those changes. Business models as well are changing. I mean, advertising, for instance, used to be one of the most popular business models. But right now, things are changing, where we have subscriptions, for example, where we have merchandising and the various other business models that ensure that the media can survive in this digital environment. Next slide, the philosophy of the program. This is based on a vibrant, independent, and socially responsible media. I think we've all heard about the concerns in society that the media is increasingly becoming irresponsible rather. And consequently, for people that take this program, it is important that we try and develop, journalists that understand that journalism and media and communications are important to society, and consequently that responsibility, the responsibility and power lie on the fact that the people that operate in this environment also ought to be knowledgeable, creative, and accountable, and especially accountable to the society in which they operate. Various pillars on which this is built. Quality, I think we've mentioned quality throughout. It's not just in this program. It is also in the various other programs that we have here, whether it's the Master of Arts in Strategic Communications or the Executive Masters in Media Leadership and Innovation. Quality is what we are built on. Credibility also, because without a credible media, without a credible communication strategy, then you're going to fail in whatever it is that you're doing. And consequently, credibility, quality, fostering innovation and entrepreneurship, including innovative and transformative leadership that I talked about earlier, are important to whatever it is that we do. Next. We have 3 very broad learning outcomes, just like all our programs. The first one is to foster a diverse cadre of media leaders. Again, based on the fact that we are digital, the media is digital at the moment, it is important that we develop people that can occupy all these spaces within the media environment, whether it's legacy or traditional media like television, radio, and newspapers, but also the digital platforms that we have, including social media platforms. So for you to operate on these platforms, you must have the knowledge and the skills to be able to operate in those on those platforms. Secondly, is to strengthen linkages between journalism, education, and the sector's educational needs. As just like any other course, we must be able to address society's needs. We must be able to address the needs of journalists in the context of this program. And consequently, this program is based on the fact that these linkages have been identified, and we're trying then to build on those as a way of responding to society's needs. And thirdly is, of course, to enhance the journalist's capacity through, developing existing knowledge, skilling and reskilling, and learning and unlearning, if you may, to be able to ensure that you possess the necessary skills and knowledge to operate in this fast-changing environment. Next slide. In this program, we have 10 core courses that you can see from your screen. So digital journalism, one, for example, where you deal with content that sells, because it's important that you not only producing content for your own consumption, but content that you're able to sell in a hyper-competitive environment. We have courses such as media law and ethics, because we realize that ethics and professionalism go together. And that is, semester 1, semester 2, as you can see, the different courses. And of course, ultimately, you're expected to produce a thesis. And this is, an academic thesis in which you, of course, put research into action, research an issue that you're passionate about, whether it's, your own practice as a journalist, if you're going to take up this program, and, try and study the impact digital journalism, for instance, has on society. And we produced numerous student studies, and all these contribute not only to knowledge, but also knowledge that is applied in various instances in the media houses that want sometimes to understand what are the audience needs, what are the changes that we're experiencing in the media landscape. So, at the end of the day, we also expect you to be a master in digital journalism, just like my colleague, Dr. Kiarie said, you're expected to be a master in strategic communications. Here, you're expected to be a master in digital journalism. Again, as we said, all our programs are in the evening, but this is a bit more intense compared to the other programs. And here we have classes between Monday and Thursday. So 4 days a week, 5:30 to 8:30, and occasionally Saturdays between 9 and 12:30. But most of the classes are between Monday and Thursday. And just like all our programs, once a semester, we expect the students to come to the university center, university in Kenya, Nairobi, the university center, although now we have a campus in Kampala, and we're going to utilize that as well. So these face-to-face interactive sessions are meant to ensure that students meet with one another, because oftentimes you see each other online. But this provides an opportunity for you to meet, to interact, to network, and of course, build on the friendships that may have started online. So yes, there we are. Thank you.
Thank you very much, George, for that wonderful presentation, and Dr. Caroline as well. So we're going to move on and listen to those of us who have already done the course. We're going to hear about their experience for the next 20 minutes. Daisy, Eunice, and Nelson are with us online. We're going to start with Daisy, but just before Daisy starts, a quick request to share any questions that you may have on the Q&A section of the webinar. Thank you very much. Daisy, are you online?
Yes, Daisy, Akori.
Hi, everyone. Yes, I'm online.
Okay. Please proceed.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Daisy Akori. I am a communications specialist, but currently I'm working with Turkana County government as the senior communications officer. I want to thank you for this opportunity to share my journey at AKU and maybe to convince you to join AKU. I joined AKU with only 50,000 Kenyan shillings, and I didn't know where I will get the rest of the money. As I have mentioned, I live and work in Turkana County, so I applied, I joined, and I started my journey at AKU. I graduated with a zero balance. Therefore, for anyone who feels like they have a financial burden, don't be worried. You will finish and you will graduate. I only have 4 points on the takeaways that I got while at Aga Khan University. The first one is digital skills that I got from my MADJ sessions. In digital skills, I was able to gain data journalism skills. I was also able to gain storytelling skills, as well as mobile journalism. In mobile journalism, I think most of you are already doing it, but you are not aware that you are working on it. So therefore, when I joined, I was already doing my work with it career-wise. Since this place is dry, and at times we would go where the network is not stable. At times we would go to places where we don't have places to charge our batteries for our cameras. Therefore, we would use our phones. And that's when mobile journalism comes handy to anyone who is intending to do digital journalism. The second one is media entrepreneurship and freelancing. I was able to open a company together with my colleagues whom I met at Aga Khan University. We are now working on documentaries. We are also working on photo shoots, videography, and I believe if anyone will join the MADJ course, will be able to gain the same. The third one is networking. When I joined Aga Khan University, I was able to meet people from different walks. There are people from the media. There are people who didn't even have knowledge on media, but they joined, and I was able to gain one or two things, and as well as hands-on training. At AKU, we were able to use the studio, the cameras, also we were also able to use the post-production equipments at the studio, and that really helped me. Currently at my workplace, I don't have an issue with editing, especially after coming from the field. I just go straight to my laptop and I just do my things because I was able to master that. Lastly is specialization. I was able to specialize on mobile journalism, and being the one running and managing our digital sites like the social medias, as well as our social media. I think this has really helped me being able to upload the things that we have done on time, being able to write stories on time and post and sharing. The skills that I've gained has really helped me. Lastly, but not least, I also have a family. Joining AKU with a family was a challenge, but I was able to finish. Therefore, anyone who would like to join, you have a family and you feel the burden of working, family and school, you don't have to worry, you'll be able to finish. Thank you so much. Anyone with any questions, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daisy. That was quite informative. A reminder again, if you have any questions, kindly have them in the Q&A section. My colleagues are there, they will respond, but we will also have some time during this session to hear from all of us in case anyone has a burning question that has not been answered in the chat. I'd like to welcome Eunice Nyamichaba. Eunice, are you online? Eunice, you can hear me? Okay, it seems Eunice is not on, but I can see Nelson Komba is on. He's an ongoing student doing the Master of Arts in Strategic Communications. Nelson, you can hear me? Nelson, you can hear me? Eunice, if you're on, kindly unmute your mic. Okay, If anyone of us has any questions, kindly raise your hand as we wait for Eunice and Nelson to join. You can ask a question. We'll allow you to unmute your mic. However, on the chat, I can see several questions have been asked. How long does the program take? So each of the programs is 2 years, and each program has 4 semesters. Each year has 2 semesters each, 4 months long. Great, I can see Eunice is with us. Eunice, you can unmute your mic.
Hi.
Hi, Eunice. Yeah, you can proceed. Kindly proceed.
Oh, okay. Hi. I hope you're all well today. So my name is Eunice Nyamichaba. I am the distribution lead for Sub-Saharan Africa at Al Jazeera Media Network, where I focus on ensuring that journalism reaches audiences across the continent. I've been in the media industry for just over 10 years, working across content, partnerships, and distribution. And before that, a bit of media sales. So what has this program done for me? I was part of the executive, the EMMLI. I think I'm sure you've seen that. For me, the program really changed 3 key things for me. First, how I see the industry. I moved from thinking about content alone to understanding the entire ecosystem around it. It also strengthened my strategic thinking, especially around sustainability and long-term growth. So I stopped just being more of an executor to just understanding what the future would look like and how we would remain relevant in an ever-changing media landscape. The third, it gave me confidence how to show up differently in different rooms.
I'm in that meeting.
Are we okay? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So during this program for me, one idea that really stayed with me is that we are no longer just in the business of journalism. We are in the business of distribution. Maybe I'm biased because of that. How to be discovered, or rather how to ensure journalism is discovered and at the same time sustained, because we are living in a platform-driven world. And that shift is huge. It means great content alone isn't enough. You need to understand where to be discovered. You need to understand how to reach the people you're trying to reach and how to survive in a very fragmented space. A lot happened during the sessions, and I can say that my understanding just came from some of the classes that we had about digital transformation, audience behavior, and the evolving media, or rather the evolving business models. So with the uncertainty that is in this industry, it is important to stay adaptable and to stay forward thinking. And I would encourage you guys to continue trying to be adaptable, and applying for this particular program means exactly that. You are trying, just the fact that you're sitting here and listening to me and listening to everyone else who's come before me means that you are trying to stay adaptable. I'm trying to think what else was an issue for me when I was joining this. Okay, there was the idea about cost. I don't know. Maybe you would sit there and ask why. Why should I? What's the cost versus the value? And because it's not a cheap cost. And I would understand why you have the concern. But in essence, I think the real value is how the program changes you and changes how you think. Because it certainly did change me. And the industry is evolving so quickly. And I would imagine that you want to navigate this industry properly. And this is your chance. For me, that's what the course did for me. So it's really less about the immediate return and more about staying. And this program, I would say go for it, because the industry is evolving, continues to evolve, and you have to make sure that you stay equipped. And for me, and I say again, maybe I'm being biased because I'm in distribution and I work with journalists often. There's been a lot of pivoting. Journalists have been pivoting into comms. And this is a PSA. Please don't abandon us, we who work with you guys who work with journalists. Don't abandon us. Just think about how we can repackage your stories to stay relevant, to meet your audiences. So PSA, don't abandon us. And this program will help you rethink about your audiences, rethink about your content, rethink about how to repackage it for the different platforms, because really we are in a platform-driven world. And I hope I've convinced you to apply, because really you don't, it's your loss. Yeah, and I don't want you to lose. So think about it, and I can tell you for sure that the faculty at Aga Khan is amazing, very supportive. As I was writing my thesis, my capstone, and for you who are in MADJ who will be writing your thesis when you decide to take this up, I made the mistake of speaking to someone who was not my supervisor. Well, it's not a mistake, but I ended up being given so much content to read. And that's what I mean. They're so supportive. Everyone just wants you to succeed. And you will always have someone to speak to while you're going through it. And for me, especially, I had my challenges as I was in my course, but the school was quite supportive as I went through the challenges. And someone always used to call me. I remember, I think it was Professor who would call me and find out how I was doing, that I'm getting better. And finally, I came on board, came back and finished my capstone and graduated in Feb. So please consider it, because really it will do great things for you and your career and your thinking. Really, we want to evolve in how we think. We want to evolve in how we think, and we want to evolve with the ever-changing media landscape. So if you are not sure, I hope I'm convinced. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Eunice. That was quite insightful. I don't want to take so much time. I want to welcome the next speaker, Nelson Komba. Kindly unmute your mic and please go ahead.
Well, thank you so much. I'm not sure that you can see me. Can you hear
Yes,
me?
we can. Yes, we can.
Thank you so much to the attendants of this particular meeting. I wish you well. My name is Nelson Komba from the Master of Arts in Strategic Communications. I work at an organization called Generation Kenya. I'm the communications manager. I'm
Nelson,
also
you're muted.
on my side. It's not muted.
We can hear you actually.
Just a minute, sorry.
You can hear me.
I can hear you, Nelson.
Okay, Joe, can I proceed?
Yes, I can hear you now. That's okay.
Okay, I was just introducing myself. I'm also the Vice President, Communication at the Project Management Institute of Kenya, and plus a number of consultancies that I do support, including recently in research. What has this program been for me? I think for me, I found a home, and what I like to mention is the impact in my own career. You might be here and you don't have a background. Probably you did not do a journalism course in undergraduate. You found yourself loving communication probably in your day-to-day work. You do support design work here and there. And that's what I was doing in my organization. I was supporting quite a lot of in alumni relations. And then the organization saw that I'm a good communicator because I could write here and there. And then I found myself doing communications. And I started asking myself, is this a place that I can advance my career into? And at some point, I decided I had wanted to do other programs, but when I came to Aga Khan, I had done a bit of short courses there. I started finding interest into this particular program, and I joined the program actually. So one thing that really has been of great impact in my career is actually directly into my career role. Because when I joined the program, I realized that a lot of my colleagues were talking about how is communication going to be a strategic function in the organization. How do you position yourself to become an advisor to your senior management and not just putting yourself into the slaves of design and all those things, which are good, but how do you become so central of the organization that you are key in terms of any project that is being laid down, that they have to hear your knowledge on what a strategic direction you're taking as a communication, because communication is a strategic function. And therefore, what that meant is that I started to become a key advisor to the senior management, and I started getting promotions. And this year, I've been funded to join the senior management because they are seeing the level of communication that is bringing. Just from being a support function within the business development function, it became a standalone function, and now is heading into the senior management level. And it's because of the knowledge that I was gaining in class. How do you position communication to be strategic and to have its own budget and to be able to communicate and breathe life in the organization? I think that for me was so central that I didn't know. In many other organizations, we are being told that communication is a support function. Communication is not longer a support function. It is a strategic function of the organization, and a communication person should be given the ability to be able to execute with the level of execution as other functions, of course, being able to also support in that particular direction. And that for me was quite important. Alongside that, I think getting to learn from other colleagues what they were doing, and also putting myself in the nitty-gritties of communication and how it's evolving, for me, that has been so great. When I was doing marketing, for instance, I was biased in marketing. I started learning that the way you produce content as a communication person should not just be to fill social media platforms. It should be to reach your particular audience and understanding, for instance, what are algorithms helping you do? And how are you working along algorithms? And that one has been so important to me because even as I'm speaking now, I record a podcast every Thursday because I've realized that video content gives you a lot of mileage on social media compared to other forms of content. Of course, compared to whatever you are doing, I've realized that there's a way you're supposed to produce your content to fit within your particular audience and niche. And then for me, that was so key, that in a way that I produce my content, I should be strategic to understand what will give me leverage and not just to produce content because other people are producing content. And that has also improved the way I position the organization on social media platform so that people are seeing me or us as thought leaders and not just any other people who are channeling out content outside there. And therefore, the class helps you to be able to look at your organization, because when you look at the assignments that you're being given, for instance, the capstone projects, you're being asked, can you look at a challenge in your own organization and come up with a solution how you're going to solve that? I was so surprised when I was given that particular assignment, because I started asking myself, how do I then evaluate myself in this particular situation? Because I'm the communications person. So when I went back and I realized, no, there's no much that I've done. I just need to be able to realize that there are other opportunities within the organization that I can actually do. And one of the assignment I did an assignment on green skills, and we are doing a program on solar. I was able to resurface that assignment during one of our partner organizations' co-creation meeting. We were trying to get funding on green energy, and I told them, I did an assignment how I can do storytelling to have women in green energy to be part of the solar program. And the organization was so impressed. They were saying, how is this Aga Khan made? And they were so impressed because of those kinds of, those kinds of projects we are doing at the end of the semester. And then for me, this one has been big. Consultancies. I'm someone who believes not in one job, apparently. Within this particular program, I have met so many of colleagues who have exposed me to so many of other opportunities within my niche, and I've been able to apply for consultancies and actually win consultancies with colleagues in class. Then that has helped me to pay some of my school fees and my colleagues as well. So we come together, we see if there's an opportunity, we put together our CVs because our CVs are so good. So when you apply for these consultancies, we actually win them and we do them together. And it has helped us even to come together. And I think recently we are thinking of coming up with a company so that we can actually just make sure that this actually something that is out there and we can apply for these consultancies and actually win them, which for me has been very great and has also contributed to building my skill set and experiences, because the people we meet in class, they're actually leaders within their spaces. And whenever they contribute in class, you feel actually learning apart from just the instructors. And I think lastly for me is about simulations. So we are learning using case studies. Someone comes with a case study within the organization, you find knowledge within that case study, you also apply it with the organization. The school, I think, has used the Harvard style of teaching, where you come with case studies, things that have happened elsewhere in the world. You also try how will you have done it better as going forward. And that has helped me to also rethink on how I run my communication within my organization. And that has really, really helped me. And I think coming from the courses that were being done, even the expertise and the lecturers, you find actual knowledge that you can start actually to use. Even this quarter, I'm working on a crisis communication plan. And when I'm working on this crisis communication plan, I'm actually going back to the modules that you're actually learning to review some of the things that we are being taught, because I want it to be very rich and to be very adaptive to the current changes in the world. I was asked to talk about fees and all that. I think what I'll say, there are various ways. For me, I joined with only 50,000 Kenya shillings. I at some point I was coming to class not knowing that I'll finish this program, because the fees is something you have to pay. But what I'll say is when I finished my first semester, I told myself that I have to look for money to do this program, because even the first semester itself was so transformative in a manner that I didn't want to lose my colleagues. And therefore, I had to look for opportunities to get money. For me, I applied for HELP. So if you're here and you're employed, HELP has this program where it provides opportunities for you to apply for postgraduate funds. I think it goes to around 600,000. So if you can get all of that and get some from your from maybe part of your salary, if you're employed in your business, I think you can manage. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Nelson. That was quite insightful. I'm sure many of us have gained from yourself, Eunice and Gloria, and we from GSMC would really like to thank you for your contribution to this and sharing your experience during the course. I'm going to quickly move on to the next session where Asha from the registrar's office is going to take us through more about application, the enrollment process, and then we're going to move on to application support. But before that, I can see Alex Rukundo's hand is up. So I'm going to allow Alex to quickly ask one question, And then one of my colleagues will answer, and then we can move on to Asha's presentation. Alex, are you there? You can unmute your mic. Alex Rukundo, are you there? I think either he can't hear me or he has he has stepped aside or may have been answered in the chat, yeah? Okay, so if you have any questions, please continue to ask in the Q&A section. Asha, please proceed.
Thank you very much, Joe. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this session. Having had quite a bit of each of the programs, I know the next question is, how can I be eligible to apply for the program? And how can I get into the program? So the registrar's office works very closely with GSMC, and it is headed by Dr. Mercy Igoki, who is joining us from the boardroom here today. Then my colleagues, Esther, Sharon, and myself take charge of admission. And if you have any questions related to the program or the application process, we will be happy to help you either on email, in person when you come to campus, or through a phone call. Next slide, please. So we will talk about how you can join the 3 programs. Next slide. Our focus is going to be on the eligibility criteria very briefly, what you need to submit a complete application, how to apply, when the applications will be closing, and what next after you have submitted your application. Next slide. So for those who are interested with the Master of Arts in Digital Journalism, you will need to have a bachelor's degree. And then depending on what you scored in your bachelor's degree, that will determine how many years of professional experience you will need to apply for the program. So for those who had a GPA of 3.0 and above or second class upper, then you'll need a minimum of 2 years professional experience in journalism or a related field. And for those who had 2.5 or a second class lower division, you'll need a minimum of 4 years professional experience to be eligible to apply. So for the next program, which is the Executive Masters in Media Leadership and Innovation, you'll still need to have a bachelor's degree and a minimum of 5 years experience if you had a second class upper or a GPA of 3.0 and above. And if you had GPA of 2.5 or a second class lower division, then you will need a minimum of 7 years experience to be eligible for the program. For those who are interested in the Master of Arts in Strategic Communications program, then you will still need a bachelor's degree and a minimum of 2 years professional experience if you had a second class upper division or 3.0 GPA, and a minimum of 3 years if you had 2.5 or a second class lower division. Next slide, please. So what do you need in order to submit a complete application? One, you will need a recent passport size color photograph. You will need copies of your academic transcripts and bachelor's degree certificate, a current copy of your curriculum vitae, a personal statement. Instructions on what you need to write about are given on the online application portal. And then you will need copies of an identification document, whether it's a national ID or a passport. And then application fees, which is about 5,500 Kenya shillings. And letters of reference. We have provided templates that you can use to have these letters of reference, but please note that this should not deter you from submitting your application if you have not received your letters of reference yet. So you can fill in your application and submit, then ask your referees to submit the letters of reference to us through email. So these letters of reference are required by the time you come in for your oral interview if we establish that you have met the minimum requirements and you're eligible to proceed to the next step. So how to apply? All our applications are done online through the Aga Khan University website. You will click onto the website and we will do a practical session right after my presentation so that we can take you through. In case you have any challenges, let us know, especially for those who have already started their application. So once you click on the website, you select which program under the graduate programs that you're interested in, and you should be able to see the online application link to take you to the online portal. So when you click on that web address, this is the landing page that you will get to for MADJ, digital journalism. This is the landing page. It will show you the deadline for applications. And more importantly, on the right-hand side, the hyperlinks are very important. From the top, online application will take you to create an account and submit your application. Admission information will give you more information about the specific program you're interested in. And then these are the templates that I spoke about earlier, the academic reference template and the professional reference template. So you're required to download the academic reference template and send it to your academic referee, who will fill it in and submit it to us through email. The professional reference template, you're also required to download it, send it to your professional referee, they'll fill it in and submit it to us through email. Should they send these reference forms to you, please be sure to send them to us. Then there's also the fee structure. I've seen a few questions on what the fee is looking like. The fee structure is available on that hyperlink. And then key admission dates will give you the specific dates of the admissions test, the oral interview, and what are the next steps before the program commences. Then there's also the frequently asked questions for admission to just give you an insight of what to expect. The applications are currently open for the 3 programs, and they'll be closing in about 2 weeks. On April 10th is when we'll receive the last application. So if you need to apply, we are here to support you before the deadline catches up. So what happens after you have submitted your application by April 10th? We will look at all the submitted applications and determine those who have met the minimum requirements, and then invite you for an admissions test. So the admissions test comprises of an English component because the program is offered in English. And then there's also the subject-specific component. For those who are applying for digital journalism, there's a journalism knowledge test. For those who are applying for executive masters, there's a leadership or innovation challenge, and the same for those who are applying for the strategic communications program. Then those will be assessed, and then those who meet the pass mark will be further invited for oral interviews, where you will meet faculty members for a 30-minute Zoom session for them to ascertain that you are indeed fit for the program. And then a decision on selection will be made, and you will receive your admission letters in time before you plan to start your classes in the last week of August for orientation and first week of September for the actual classes. So just to recap from my presentation is that all applications are done online. We will not be expecting you to deliver any documents to campus. And then ensure you have read the checklist and taken note of all the documents that you need for the application before you commence the application. Please also take note that reference forms should not deter you from submitting your application, because those can be sent separately through email. And then remember to save your application at the last page, then click on pay and submit so that you can proceed to make your application fee payment, which is a mandatory requirement. And then once you have made your payment, then please hang on to that page until the payment is processed and you're taken back to the first page where you'll be shown that your application has been submitted. So you can reach out to us through either of the email addresses provided there or the phone numbers, but we are also available right now to just guide you on the areas that you may feel like you need extra support. So thank you very much. I'll invite Dr. MASC to take us through the live online application.
Just before you proceed, Dr. MASC, there are those of us who would like to start applying now, because the next session is Dr. MASC taking people through the application. and how to fill it and how to quickly submit so that you don't miss out on the deadline or on the course. Just as a reminder, the deadline for applying for the course is 10th of April. The webinar was to go until 2 p.m. I'm sure there are those of us who want to log out. The deadline is 10th of April. Kindly share with your colleagues about the opportunity of joining these courses. And also a key question that many of us are asking, I've seen on the chat, is about the scholarship. So just to mention, we have 2 journalism-centric courses. That's the Master of Arts in Digital Journalism and the Executive Masters in Media Leadership and Innovation. So these 2 courses, they have a scholarship package attached to them, where the university gives up to 30% scholarship of the full course fee or the tuition fee, sorry. So that is up to 30% of the tuition fee. And then you can spread out the balance when you join the course. You can spread out the balance across 24 months. That's 2 years, the duration of the course. So that's a key question that I've seen many of us have been asking in the chat. And for the strategic, the Master of Arts in Strategic Communication does not have a scholarship package attached to it. So for those of us who will join that course, please note that the full course fee is applicable. The course fees for the Master of Arts in Digital Journalism is 750,000 Kenya shillings. Executive Masters in Media Leadership and Innovation is 950,000 Kenya shillings. And the Master of Arts in Strategic Communication is 1.2 million. Thank you so much. For those who want to log off, thank you so much for joining us. For those of us who are continuing with the application support, we have quite a number of applicants who would like to submit the application. Please stay on. We are going to take the next 5 to 10 minutes taking you through the application form. And I will share the link to the application form for those of us who want to start applying for the course. Thank you so much. Dr. Mercy, please proceed.
Thank you very much and good afternoon. And thank you for coming on and joining us. We have quite a number of people who made an attempt to apply. So we want to take you through an information. Mr. Esther. So we want to take you through the process. First and foremost, our application portal is very learner-friendly. So approach it easily. Don't approach it with this feeling of it's going to be complicated. It's very, very easy. You've been considered, and we've done it in such a way that for as long as you read the instructions, you will be able to proceed up to the very end. There are 2 places that I want to emphasize on: how to upload the documents. How to upload the documents. Okay, now I am. And the last 3, how to make the payment. I know Asha has already talked about that, but allow me to repeat because it is important. All right. So you'll go to our portal, our website, that is, and you go to the graduate, you can do the admissions and then go to graduate school. So at Graduate Kenya, choose or select the program that you are interested in. If you're interested with Master of Arts in Digital Journalism, then you get there. If it is the EMMLI or that is Master of Arts in Strategic Communication, whichever program you are interested in, you click so that you go to that page. And once you are on that page, we have, you are required to apply online. You click apply online, okay? Click apply online. And at this particular point, if you've already started your application, then you will put your email address and your password and log in. But if you have not started, then you have the email address, password, and new user. You will start as new user. And once you go through the new user, you will input the details that you will be required there. It will send an email to your address. Then you'll activate your account on your email address. All right. Then now from there, you have an account. You'll come back to the same place, input your email address, password, and log in. And when you log in, you'll get something like this. Okay. Take it easy, just respond to the questions. Just something to mention, anywhere you see the magnifying glass or you see the arrow, whether the arrow is facing up or it is facing down, it means you don't type. Don't type there, but any other place you type. But where you see the magnifying glass or you see the arrow, it means you click because there are options, okay? You click because there are options, and then you select whichever option that it is. So you go to the very end, then save and proceed, okay? You now have, you are getting a new application, so you click the country where you want to study, and of course, the fact that you are here with us, it means you want to study in Kenya, so select Kenya, and then select. You'll get a drop-down giving you the programs that are available, and you select the program that you want to study. Now, I've already selected mine, so mine is active. So allow me to go to the active, and I will use one that we already have started, which is Master of Arts in Strategic Communication. The beauty about this is I'm speaking to people who already are very familiar with this. Just go through the stages step by step. Please note that you cannot go to step 2 before completing step 1. So you clear with step 1, save and proceed. Finish the next one, save and proceed. Let me come to the place where I said we normally have challenges with students, where you're supposed to be uploading you're supposed to be recording your educational qualification, and then we have uploading and payment. All right, at this particular point, there is a magnifying glass here. So you click that, and it gives you options of your qualification. So select your qualification, all right, whichever it is, whether it is Bachelor of Law or Bachelor of Education or Mass Communication, whatever it is, select. Then from there, give us the index number or the roll number, or give us your admission number, whatever number that is there on your certificate. The year of admission, the year of completion, the name of the institution, go all the way to the very end. Now, save and new qualification. Go back there and select whatever it is that you need to be adding. From there, save and proceed. And like I've said, the beauty is we are speaking to people who already have an idea. Then from here, work experience, give us your work experience. The blanks are there, fill in the blanks. Remember, anywhere there is an arrow or there is a magnifying glass, it means click there and select. Then save and proceed once you have done all that you need to do. We have space here for statement of purpose or statement of objectives. Our advice is you type this on the side. You can type it on Word document. You can do it on wherever you would like to type. Then copy and paste. We need a maximum of 1,000 words. You can have less, but not more than 1,000. If it is more than 1,000, the system will ask you to reduce. Then again, you save and proceed. All right. Then give us the referee. You're giving us the name, the designation, the department, the state of the referee. And remember, we've said you're supposed to be uploading the documents here, but this should not hold you back, okay? This should not hold you back. You will get the referee recommendation later and you can send it on email. Then once you're done, you save and proceed. All right. Then here you're supposed to be uploading. Please note, we only have two formats that are accepted by the system, PDF or JPEG. So get your documents PDF. Then again, select here. Remember where there is a magnifying glass, it means you're selecting. Select your curriculum vitae, that is your CV. Give us the name, upload it, go back, give us educational documents, name the document, upload it, work experience, national ID, one by one, okay? As you name and upload. After every upload, the system will tell you successful. If you're not successful, the system will give you the reason. Maybe you're using long format or whatever the case may be, all right? Then once you are done, remember for you to go to the next one, you save and add new document. Once you are done with all the documents that are required, you save and proceed, all right? And we are almost at the end. All right, at this point, tell us the center that you want to sit your exam. Dar es Salaam for those who are in Tanzania, Kampala, those who are in Uganda, Karachi if you're in Pakistan, and Nairobi, all right. Then we have interview. Where would you like to do the interview? Nairobi. I need to mention at this point that if you are not in those centers, you can sit your exam from wherever you are. To be an online exam, but all what we say is that you are responsible for your internet, you are responsible for the functioning of your gadget, you are responsible for everything. So if you are in those two spaces, those two countries, we encourage you to go to the center. But if you can't, no problem. Just do it from wherever you are. Then after that, how did you get to know about our admission? Again, select, all right? Select the option because we said wherever you find an arrow, click the arrow because there are options. And before you make the payment, you need to upload the photo, all right? We encourage you to give us the best photo. Because what normally happens is students, applicants do this in a hurry. So you give us whichever photo. Then at the end, you discover that we are using this photo. If you'll be successful, we will use this photo to prepare your student ID. And you come back saying, no, I don't like this photo. So give us your very, very best photo because I want to believe that you are hoping that you'll get this opportunity. Once you are done with that, you now come to the last bit. The last bit, which already Asha has emphasized, but allow me to go through slowly. That anyone can pay. You will not have a challenge with payment. As long as you go through it step by step, you can do local fee or you can use local platform or it can be foreign platform. So we have the payment mode here. Click and select the one that you want to use. Let's assume we start with you are using local fee, all right? Then it will give you the amount. The amount is 5,464.30. What does that mean? If you are using M-Pesa, then have a little more than this because we have transactional fee. If you are using your ATM card or you are using your credit card or you are using your debit card, and we will be seeing that in a few, just have a little more because of the transaction fee. All right, now after choosing local fee, you save. Once you save, the pay and submit turns green. You pay and submit. And then the question will be, you have entered and verified all information required. You will receive a confirmation email upon submission. What we are saying is ensure that whatever information you have given us is what you would want us to have. All right. Now, why are we saying this? Is because sometimes, like the profile, the personal statement, maybe you are doing this in a rush and you didn't get good time to write, to write a good one. So before you submit, be sure that you have gone back, you have revised and reviewed your personal statement, and everything is okay. Other times you may have used a funny picture, and maybe you want to change. before you submit, ensure you change your picture so that you are not coming back later and you are saying, oh, the picture that I uploaded is not the one that I wanted to. That is why we have that question. Then from there, yes, okay, you will have a window. You'll get a window here. All right. This is now where you do this when you are ready. Okay. If somebody is paying for you, don't click proceed if that person doesn't know that they're supposed to be getting a prompt, because they will get a prompt, whether you are using Visa or you are using M-Pesa or you are using Airtel or whichever other mode that we have provided there. Before you get here, please prompt whoever is paying for you, or if it is you, then be ready. If you're using a card, you're using Fallen and you're using your card, your credit card or your debit card, have the card ready so that you input all the required information. So if you're using M-Pesa, then you key in the correct number, the number here that you're using, and proceed. You'll get a prompt, input your PIN, then wait on this page. Don't move from this page. Why are you waiting? It is because this page is not AKU's page. This is PesaPal page. So it is an outsourced page. So you will need to wait for this page to communicate to the application page where we are having the confirmation. That is the submission of your application. So you wait here until the system is done, and it will take you back to the beginning where you will see submission. So wait here until everything is done. You could use M-Pesa, you can use Airtel, you can use Visa. If you're using Visa, see the information there. That's why I said if you're using Visa, then have your card near, because all the information must correspond. Whatever information that is here should be the information that is on your card. If you are using MasterCard, there we go. So whichever one that you're using, but the thing is you need to input the correct information. Now let me go back and assume that I am using Fallen. Back to payment again. I choose Foreign. All right. Now, okay. Just a minute. Okay. If you're using Fallen, there you are. Save, pay, and submit. Okay. Yes, I am ready to pay. You get the page, the payment page. And there you are again. You could be you could be paying using foreign currency, using M-Pesa, the number there, using Airtel, using Visa, or any other. Okay. Though I know those who are in Uganda, you may not be able, not Uganda, actually if you are not in Kenya, you may not be able to use M-Pesa or Airtel because unless you have a plus 254 number. If you have 254 number, you'll be able to use. But if your number is not 254, then you'll be unable to pay. But nevertheless, you will comfortably use your credit card or your debit card, your MasterCard, your Visa card, all that. And again, you wait, proceed and wait. Wait until the process is over. And once the process is over, it will take you back to this stage. Let me show you where it will take you back to. It will take you back here, all right? And your status here will be reading submitted. At the same time, you will get 2 emails. One email from PesaPal and the other email from application. And that will be submission of your application. And I think that is it. Yeah, thank you very much for listening. But remember, we are only a phone call away, an email away. If you completely unable to move forward, just let us know, do an email to us. What we will do is we will have, it can be a Zoom meeting or a Google Meet, and we will be able to see exactly where you're getting stuck and we will support you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Mercy. Are there any burning questions from anyone online? Kindly raise your hand if you do. Okay, I will assume that the questions have been answered, or there is one person. Mary, you had your hand up, or the question has been answered? Okay, so I'll assume we are all okay. I'd kindly like now to end the webinar and say thank you very much to all of you who have joined and who have stayed ahead. I hope you received the link to the application form. Kindly start applying. The application deadline is on 10th of April. That is in 2 weeks. Kindly start applying. As you have seen, there are quite a number of documents that are required. Just so that we don't fall into the last minute rush, kindly start now. You can always email me, you can text me, you can contact me via WhatsApp, just in case you have any questions or you'd like to seek clarification. For now, for those of us here at the Graduate School of Media and Communication, we'd like to say thank you and have a good afternoon. Bye.